Since around the year 2010, the general relationship between men and women has gradually declined. This is not because of feminism, it's not because of the red pill, it's not because of incels, it's not because of the manosphere, and this is not because of the patriarchy. It's because of algorithms on social media. Confused? Let me explain. Before 2010, everybody saw the same internet. Everybody received the same results on Google searches. Everybody was recommended the same YouTube videos. And Facebook consisted only of content posted by your personal friends. Then, in 2010, something changed. The internet began using algorithms to personalize content directly to the individual. Social media began collecting data on what you clicked on, how long you spent watching particular videos, and which content you paused on while scrolling through Facebook. Social media then fed your data into algorithms that would cleverly recommend the content you would be most likely to spend time watching. This would increase the amount of time our eyeballs spent looking at Facebook and YouTube, thus earning more profit through the sale of advertising. Very quickly, men and women began to be put into two different groups or bubbles by these algorithms. Men and women generally have naturally differing psychology and tend to be drawn to different kinds of content on the internet, and the algorithms notice that. Unsurprisingly, both men and women use social media to search for advice on dating and sex. Men would enter searches such as how to get a girlfriend or how to impress a girl, while women would search for things like how to look pretty or how to get a boyfriend. From this point onwards, men and women began to live in two entirely different internet environments. Two giant algorithmic bubbles formed, trapping both men and women inside them. As the years went by, each individual man and woman clicked and consumed thousands, even tens of thousands of pieces of content. The algorithms received more and more data on which content men and women watch and became even smarter at recommending exactly that content which pushes our buttons the most. Men, who had previously been watching innocent, well-meaning dating advice videos, were now recommended videos with titles such as Why You Can Never Trust a Woman, The Reality of Female Nature, and Why You Should Never Get Married. Women, on the other hand, were recommended content with titles such as The Patriarchy and How It Affects You, and Why You Can Never Trust a Man. Most men and women have faced difficulties when it comes to dating each other, and as such, this kind of content pushes our buttons immensely. The algorithms had figured out how to make us spend more time watching content on social media. The years went on, and men and women had now been watching content inside their gender-sorted algorithmic filter bubbles for a period of 5 to 6 years. We had essentially become propagandized by the content in our own online bubbles to mistrust and despise the opposite gender. Both the male and female filter bubbles formed their own ideologies. Inside the female filter bubble, the content exaggerated the misogyny and sexism of men while downplaying the societal ills that men themselves face. It held the idea of patriarchy as the all-encompassing theory of everything, convincing a huge number of women deeply they were being constantly wronged on a daily basis by a male-privileged society. In the male filter bubble, the content focused more on the true nature of women. It emphasized and exaggerated all the dark sides of female psychology, while simultaneously ignoring the positive sides of women. It downplayed the societal problems women faced and emphasized and exaggerated the problems men do. Both men and women, at least those who spend a large amount of time on the internet, had an ideology form at the base of their thinking that provided them with countless detailed reasons to despise the opposite gender. After watching hours and hours of content recommended to us by algorithms on the internet, men and women learned the darkest of dark sides of the opposite gender while being taught nothing of the good. In authoritarian countries, the information the public receives through the media is chosen carefully to push the ideology of the ruling class, and all information that comes to the public is distorted by the media to support the country's ideology. This was true in Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Mao's China, and countless other authoritarian regimes. This manipulation of the media effectively controls how segments of the population thinks. Yet these people have no idea that they've been propagandized. They believe they created their worldview by themselves, when in fact their worldview was created based only on hand-picked, biased information showed to them through mass media. This exact same effect happens with social media gender filter bubbles. You may believe that your mindset towards the opposite gender formed naturally in your own mind, but did it? Or was your view towards women or men created in your mind using the information you received through online content that you are recommended by social media algorithms? Women flippantly disregard the societal problems faced by men while holding their own problems up on a pedestal of importance. Men do the exact same thing in the opposite direction. It's difficult for men and women to understand each other when we both live in entirely different online information environments and receive two entirely different narratives of the world through our screens. You will notice that men and women who do not spend a large amount of time on screens are less likely to have such a negative view of the opposite gender. It's those of us who spend huge amounts of time consuming online content that create deep negative thinking about the opposite gender. Has the male or female filter bubble propagandized you into despising the opposite gender? Think about it.